This is Two Ladies Midwest Adventures. I'm Julietta, and we are reading The Days of the Martyrs. We are on chapter 3. Yay. In the previous 3 decades, Christianity had made dramatic inroads into the Roman world as the apostles and their followers took the gospel to the furthest limits of the empire and even beyond. Paul was instrumental in winning many converts, both Jewish and Gentile, in Greece and Asia Minor. But one must not nurture the misconception that the spread of Christianity was due to the single-handed efforts of this one apostle. In the first century, the good news was carried by other apostles and their disciples to Italy, Gaul, Spain, Britain, North Africa, and even beyond the borders of the empire, into Persia and India. In order to understand the appeal of Christianity and the Christianity to the inhabitants of Rome and the Roman Empire and the eventual hostility on the part of its rulers, it is necessary to understand the religious atmosphere that prevailed in those days. The national religion of Rome was very different from Christianity, Judaism, and most other modern religions. It was public, not a private religion. It considered outward acts rather than inward creeds and purity of heart. The position of the Roman government was that the state should expect prosperity and protection only of the spirits who were associated with the city of Rome. The cities such as deities. Sorry, it splits off the words and it confuses me sometimes. Such as Jupiter, Mars, and Apollo were shown the proper respect by all inhabitants of the empire. Rome had conquered many different civilizations, many religious traditions. The government had no objection whatsoever if the individuals continued to worship their traditional gods, as long as the gods of Rome were honored too. This reverence consisted only in the burning of incense before the statues of the emperor and the national gods on various ceremonial occasions. The Jews alone were exempted from the obligation to worship the national gods, but they were required to offer sacrifice and prayer to their God in their temple in behalf of the emperor and the Roman state. Still, many Romans could not understand why members of this particular race were unwilling, at least to go through with the formalities of the national religion, even if their hearts were not in it. Many Roman intellectuals were atheists and agnostics, but nevertheless complied with the trivial obligations of the national religion. Even endorsing the practice as a means of preserving a cultural and patriotic unity. As we have seen in the case of Caligula, there was periodic talk of rescinditing the exemption and compelling Israel to offer sacrifices to the gods of Rome. After fulfilling one's obligation to the national gods, an inhabitant of the Roman Empire was free to pursue any religion he chose, or none at all. The national religion was concerned with the welfare of the state, not that of the individual, And so, to address the inner longings of their souls, the people of the empire turned to a bewildering variety of cults. So many of them that it is difficult to categorize what a typical Roman believed, if in fact there was such a thing as a typical Roman. Many intellectuals, as we have said, were outright skeptical of the existence of any personal gods. A writer of the school of Aristotle who said that God is synonymous, which necessity declared God is to us a law, eventually balanced, receptive neither to correction nor change. Lucius Annicus Seneca. Oh, Seneca. They had that name in the movie The Hunger Games and book. A celebrated Stoic philosopher wrote of the national religion. These observances a philosopher will maintain because they are imposed by law, not because they will please the gods. He went on to say that the whole base throng of gods, the product of superstition, should still be worshipped, but only to set an example, not because they exist. Such intellectuals involve themselves in philosophical systems such as Stoicism, Epicureanism, Platonism, skepticism, which were genuinely concerned with personal conduct and a man's relationship with the universe, but which seldom admitted belief in any like a personal God. Many ordinary people turned to what were called mystery cults. These societies, nearly all of them imports from eastern provinces, professed to impart a secret knowledge to initiate, which was supposed to guarantee them either eternal life or some other benefit in time or eternity. One of the most popular of these cults was that of the Eleusinian. I cannot pronounce that. Mysteries. Eleusinian mysteries, which had its origins in Greece. This cult centered around Persephone, daughter of Demeter, the Earth Mother. Persephone was kidnapped by Hades, the god of the dead. Alright. That was about the changing of the season story. The god of the dead. Through the efforts of her mother, I doubt I'm pronouncing her name even right. Persephone, my bad, was ultimately accorded the privilege of returning to the world above for half of the year, while during the other half she was constrained to remain in the underworld as the bride of the death god. This myth originally was associated with the mystery of the changing season. Yeah, I figured. But eventually was extended to the quest for eternal life, when after a period of fasting and wandering about the seashore, with light and torches to illuminate Demeter in search for Persephone, the time came to be admitted to the mysteries. Sacred object of the cult, an ear of corn, the symbol of life, was revealed to the initiates in the brilliant light enhanced by the use of mirrors. The initiates engaged in a ritual meal which they professed to be participating in the life of the goddess Demeter. They insisted that eternal life was obtainable only through their prescribed rituals. Thrice blessed are they who have seen these rites and then go to the gates of Hades, for they alone have life there, but all others have only woe. Although he professed the belief in short of immortality, the cultists of Eleusinian Eleusinic. It's that word again. Mysteries. He had no concept of a God who loved him.
I don't got Dad here to help me right now figure out some of these words.
Okay. Had no concept of a God who loved him unconditionally as a person, and whom he was to love in return. It was simply a matter of getting something out of the gods. The deities were seen as a source of beliefs who, through the proper magical rites, could be manipulated. Another popular mystery religion was Mithraism, which was limited to men. It was popular among soldiers. This cult came from Iran. Its devotees believed that the good god Mithras, a benefactor and supporter of mankind, wrestled with the powers of darkness in the person of a cosmetic bull and established civilization on earth before he ascended into heaven, from whence he aided his followers in their constant struggle against the evil god Ahriman. Mithrites therefore believed that God and the devil were equals. Observing a literature that one writer described as a mass of occult hocus pocus. Sound about right. Hocus pocus is a fairly nice way of saying that. Oh, phone. Let's see.
Continue.
Fine.
Continue.
Working on it. Mithrites met in chapels called caves, where there were 7 levels of initiation. The raven, the bridegroom, my bad. That was bridge. The soldier, the lion, the Persian, the courier of the sun, and finally the father. Initiates had to undergo tests of endurance, such as ordeals of extreme heat and cold. They practiced in a form of communication, partaking of bread and wine, through which they professed to participate in the life of Mithras. They believed in a world to come, but felt that its attainment was based solely on works. If a man's good deeds outweighed the bad, he was admitted into paradise. Mithraism, the Eleusinian mysteries, were tame compared to other cults. Yeah, it seems fairly tame. Compared to other cults that found a popular following in the Roman Empire. There was, for instance, the Bethlehem? No, that's an N, not an M. Or Dionysic mysteries, which were likewise supposed to confer eternal life upon initiates. This cult entered around Bacchus, or Dionysus, the god of wine. Oh, okay. And needless to say, the consumption of strong drink was a very prominent feature of worship. I mean, drinking is what a lot of people do, so as far as I'm concerned, it's not tasty, but people just do it for the effects. And get kind of hooked on it, so. Okay. In fact, initiates drank and danced themselves into a frenzy and concluded their rites in a grisly sexual debauch. Whereas I can't find myself. Whereas the sacred symbol of Eleusinian was the ear of corn. For Bethlehem's, it was the phallus. I was like, that almost looked like platypus for a second. The eternal life, which the initiates expected was seen as one great drunken orgy. The cult was so wild and had a bunch of reputation that the Roman Senate banned it. Dang. It had such a bad reputation that the Roman Senate banned it as early as 186 BC. It went underground, however, and in the first century, the Bethlehem Mysteries had many adherents. It's 50 minutes now. I mean, that's kind of like having a lot of drunk people running around, and, well, you're not thinking exactly as clearly, stuff can happen. You kind of lose the common sense factor when that happens. So I can understand why the Roman Senate would do that. But yeah, that is part 1 of chapter 3. Like and subscribe so we can get to 1,000 subscribers to start beekeeping and stay blessed. Make the world a better place, one person, one at a time. Let's keep common sense an actual thing.
Yep. And
Hi.
do your best.
Yeah, do your best. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe so we can get to 1,000 subscribers so we can start beekeeping.